ブロニャブロニャブロニャブロニャ。
ゼーレもテリテリロザリア。
Hi, today, we'll be benchmarking the CEO of MiHoYo in 4K on my RTX 3060 12GB in Honkai Impact 3rd. Our test will take place in the Elysian Realm. We'll be doing deep sequence this time as Silverwing NEX, and we'll play on Shroud difficulty. First, here's a quick rundown of the computer's specs and settings. Of course, we'll be running Windows 11, 64 bits. The CPU is the i7-10700K, a 10th Gen 8-core Intel processor. It's equipped with 32GB of DDR4 RAM clocked to 3200 MHz, and the GPU is the RTX 3060 with 12GB. It basically was my main computer, but with a different GPU and a worse case. Next, these will be our graphics settings for the first 8 floors of the deep sequence. When we progress to the 9th floor, we will up the shadow quality to very high, and when we reach the 13th floor, we will then lower the rendering accuracy to mid. Lastly, I'll go over my setup for this game developer. This time, I actually do have her weapon and her stigma set, so we'll be using them. With all that out of the way, it's time to begin testing.
ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。行動開始。ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。フィールド展開。はい、フィールド展開。チャージ完了。戦場に到着しました。フィールド展開。はい、フィールド展開。全てのスキル全部の展開。目標沈黙。ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。行動開始。はい、フィールド展開。全部の展開。目標沈黙。ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。急ぎましフィールド展開。フィールド展開。それぞれのスキル全滅に発動。ファイナルショット。フィールド展開。ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。行動開始。フィールド展開。それぞれのスキル全滅に発動。ファイナルショット。フィールド展開。ファイヤー。フィールド展開。ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。急ぎましょう。行動開始。フィールド展開。ブローニャ戦場に到着しました。フィールド展開。フィールド展開。 今日沈黙フィールド展開この戦いは私たちの勝利です。
The test has been completed. Time to begin my analysis. So with the rendering and shadows set to high on the first 8 floors, the performance dances around 120 FPS. But, as you can see, our attacks hit the performance and went as low as 71 FPS on the 7th floor. When summoning Azure Imperia, her attack dropped our performance to 62 frames minimum on the 8th floor. Most of our framerate averages from the first 8 floors were closer to 120 FPS. At the 9th floor, I upped the shadow quality to very high. As expected, our performance is somewhat worse. On the 10th floor, the minimum frames went under 60 after summoning Azure Imperia. Our framerate averages between the 9th and 12th floor are lower than before, but were still above 100 FPS. On the 13th floor, I decided to turn down the rendering accuracy to medium, and keep the shadows to very high. I may have recorded Afterburner a bit too early on the 14th floor, but it averaged at 119 frames. Azure Imperia did not seem to hit the performance as hard this time, so the game is performing overall better with these settings. The lowest Azure Imperia dropped it to was 110 frames minimum on the last floor. Our frame rates average at 120 FPS. Conclusion. Overall, the RTX 3060 is capable of playing this game at 120 FPS in 4K resolution, but the performance may be a bit rocky, especially with higher graphic settings. Of course, you also have the option to run the game at lower resolutions, which would yield better performance results with higher settings. It'll be up to you, of course. Personally, if I were to run daily BP missions on this machine in 4K, I'd probably set the rendering and shadows to high, and cap the frame rate to 60, since I don't think it's worth the extra heat.
So thanks for watching this video. If you happen to enjoy this video, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. And don't forget to share the video. I may not be the cutest anime girl around, but with your help, I can become best girl. Yep, that should be everything. Bye!